across every continent and culture, festivals stand as luminous moments in the calendar. Compressed bursts of joy, ritual, and memory where ordinary life gives way to extraordinary expression. They are far more than colorful spectacles. They are living museums of culture, where myths, foodways, costumes, music, and community coalesce into vibrant acts of remembrance and renewal. Whether celebrated in sprawling city streets or in intimate village squares, festivals embody the values, histories, and hopes of the people who keep them alive. To wander through the world's festivals is to glimpse humanity in its most exuberant spiritual and creative forms. At their core, festivals serve multiple functions. They mark the passage of time, seasons turning, harvests arriving, or the new year dawning. They commemorate the sacred gods, saints, or ancestors who guide and protect. They also affirm community, breaking down barriers of class, age, or background as everyone comes together in shared revelry. In many traditions, festivals function as acts of collective memory, carrying ancient stories forward into the present through song, dance, ritual, and feasting. The bonfires of Holi in India, the lanterns of Chinese New Year, and the masked dances of Venice Carnival are all different expressions of the same universal impulse to connect the present with the past, the human with the divine, and the individual with the community. Equally important are the sensory dimensions of festivals. The swirl of powdered color in India's Holi, the pounding drums of the sinulog in the Philippines, the aroma of Bavarian pretzels at Oktoberfest, or the flicker of torchlight at Scotland's Hogmanay. These details create experiences that transcend words and linger in memory. Festivals are immersive environments where sight, sound, taste, and touch become vehicles of culture, embedding traditions not just in the mind but in the body. Yet festivals are not static relics. They evolve with time, absorbing new influences, technologies, and audiences. Brazil's Carnival now attracts millions of international visitors, while Dia de los Muertos in Mexico has become both a sacred ritual and a global cultural symbol. The challenge for many communities lies in balancing authenticity with accessibility, preserving spiritual depth while welcoming outsiders to share in the joy. For travelers, experiencing these festivals offers more than entertainment. It provides insight into a culture's soul, as long as participation is guided by respect and curiosity rather than consumption. This essay journeys through 15 countries, each represented by one iconic festival. From color-drenched streets to sacred processions, from masked balls to communal harvest feasts, we will explore the origins, rituals, sensory details, modern transformations, and practical visitor insights of these celebrations. Together, they form a mosaic of humanity's shared need for connection, renewal, and joy, reminders that while cultures differ in expression, the impulse to celebrate unites us all. India Holi, often called the Festival of Colors, is one of India's most vibrant and joyful celebrations, deeply rooted in tradition and symbolism. It is celebrated every spring, marking the end of winter and the arrival of warmer days, while also embodying themes of renewal, love, and the triumph of good over evil. The origins of Holi lie in Hindu mythology, particularly the story of Prahlad, a devoted follower of Lord Vishnu who survived an attempt on his life by his evil aunt Holika. To honor this victory of good over evil, people light bonfires on the eve of Holi, a ritual known as Holika Dahan, which signifies the burning away of negativity and darkness. The most iconic part of Holi takes place the following day, when communities gather in streets, courtyards, and open fields to throw brightly colored powders, called gulal, and splash water at one another. It becomes a carnival of laughter, play, and togetherness, breaking down barriers of age, gender, and social class. Music and drums fill the air while people sing, dance, and embrace, covered head to toe in colors. Traditional sweets like gujia and drinks such as thandai, sometimes infused with local herbs, are shared among friends and families, further adding to the festive mood. Holi is not just about fun, it carries deep cultural meaning. The colors symbolize unity, renewal, and the joy of life itself. In regions like Mathura and Vrindavan, Holi has strong spiritual connections with Lord Krishna, who is believed to have playfully colored the faces of his beloved Radha and other gopas. Today, Holi is celebrated by millions in India and across the globe, embraced as a universal message of harmony, love, and joy. For many, it is a time to forgive old grievances, strengthen relationships, and celebrate the beauty of life together. Holi is, at its heart, a reminder that light and love always prevail. Japan Gion Matsuri, held every July in Kyoto, Japan, is a centuries-old summer festival renowned for its grand wooden floats, colorful parades, and deep cultural traditions. It dates back to the 9th century when Kyoto was plagued by epidemics and natural disasters. To appease the gods and pray for protection, residents organized religious processions and rituals. Over time, these ceremonies evolved into a grand festival that now lasts for the entire month of July, blending Shinto beliefs with community pride and artistry. The highlight of June Matsuri is the magnificent parade of floats known as Yamaboko. These floats are enormous wooden structures, some weighing several tons and standing as tall as multi-story buildings. They are beautifully decorated with tapestries, carvings, and ornaments that showcase traditional Japanese craftsmanship. Each neighborhood in Kyoto is responsible for building, maintaining, and parading its float, creating a strong sense of community and continuity. The floats are pulled by groups of people through Kyoto's streets, accompanied by traditional music played on flutes, drums, and bells. Visitors to the festival also witness people dressed in traditional yukata summer kimono, adding to the authentic atmosphere. The evenings leading up to the main parade are just as lively, with streets close to traffic and filled with food stalls, lanterns, and festive crowds. Families, tourists, and locals all gather to enjoy the sights, sounds, and flavors of summer in Kyoto. Beyond the spectacle, Gion Matsuri is a powerful expression of heritage. It is a living tradition where artistry, faith, and community spirit come together. Despite modernization and tourism, the festival retains its sacred meaning while serving as a showcase of Kyoto's unique cultural identity. For anyone visiting Japan, experiencing Gion Matsuri is to step into history and see a city's soul in motion. Spain. La Tomatina's Bowl. La Tomatina, held annually in the small town of Budiol near Valencia, Spain, is one of the world's most unique and playful festivals. Known as the ultimate food fight, it takes place on the last Wednesday of August and attracts tens of thousands of participants from around the globe. What began in the mid-20th century as a spontaneous act of mischief during a local parade has since grown into a world-famous event, officially recognized and carefully organized by the town. The heart of La Tomatina is a massive one-hour tomato battle in which trucks unload tons of overripe tomatoes into the streets. At the signal, participants pelt each other with squashed tomatoes until the town square becomes a sea of red pulp. The experience is chaotic, messy, and exhilarating, a blend of louder shouts and the unmistakable tang of tomatoes filling the air. For safety, festival rules require that tomatoes be crushed before throwing to prevent injury, and water hoses are used afterward to wash the streets clean. Beyond the spectacle, La Tomatina carries deeper meaning as a celebration of community, freedom, and the joy of play. Locals and tourists alike join together in an event where social barriers disappear, and everyone becomes equal in the fun. The festival also includes parades, fireworks, music, and a pala cooking contest, adding cultural flavor to the event. For travelers, planning ahead is essential. Tickets are required, protective goggles are recommended, and wearing old clothes is a must. While it may seem like pure chaos, La Tomatina is actually a carefully managed tradition that reflects Spain's spirit of fiesta and camaraderie. More than just a food fight, it is a joyful reminder that sometimes the best way to celebrate life is to laugh, let loose, and get a little messy. Mexico. Dia de los Muertos, Day of the Dead. Dia de los Muertos, or the Day of the Dead, is one of Mexico's most meaningful and vibrant traditions, celebrated each year from October 31st to November 2nd. Far from being a somber occasion, it is a joyous commemoration that honors deceased loved ones while affirming the beauty and continuity of life. Rooted in a blend of pre-Hispanic indigenous beliefs and Catholic practices introduced during Spanish colonization, the festival reflects a worldview where death is not an end but a natural part of existence. The centerpiece of Dia de los Muertos is the ofrenda, an altar built in homes, cemeteries, or public spaces. These altars are lovingly decorated with photographs of the departed, candles, papal picados, colorful paper cutouts, incense, and offerings of food and drinks the person once enjoyed. Marigolds or Sempaschel are particularly significant. Their bright orange petals are believed to guide spirits back to the world of the living. Families gather in cemeteries to clean and adorn graves, share meals, sing songs, and spend the night in remembrance, transforming the space into one of warmth, light, and music. The imagery of Dia de los Muertos is instantly recognizable: sugar skulls, calaveras, skeletal figurines, calicas, and colorful face paintings, all of which embody the belief that death can be approached with humor, acceptance, and love. Public parades, music, and dances have expanded the celebration into a cultural showcase, especially in cities like Mexico City, while smaller towns preserve more intimate, traditional forms. For visitors, it is important to participate with respect. The festival is a sacred act of remembrance, not just a spectacle. Ultimately, Dia de los Muertos is a vibrant reminder that those we love are never truly gone, living on in memory, ritual, and the joy of shared celebration. Brazil. Carnival's Rio de Janeiro. Carnival in Rio de Janeiro is the largest and most spectacular carnival in the world, celebrated every year before Lent with unmatched energy, rhythm, and color. What began as a Portuguese colonial tradition of feasting and merrymaking has evolved into a dazzling cultural showcase, deeply influenced by Afro-Brazilian music, dance, and spirituality. Today, Rio's carnival is both a global attraction and a proud expression of Brazilian identity. At the heart of Carnival are the famous Samba School parades held in the Sambadrome, a purpose-built stadium where competing Samba schools present themed performances. Each parade features thousands of participants, elaborate floats, intricate costumes covered in feathers and sequins, and original Samba songs created just for the event. The sight is breathtaking, waves of glittering dancers moving in perfect rhythm to the thunderous beat of drums, while the crowd cheers with contagious excitement. These parades are not just entertainment but also competitions judged on choreography, music, costumes, and creativity, making them a blend of art, sport. Beyond the Sambadrom, Carnival thrives in the streets. Known as blocos, these street parties are open to everyone, featuring live music, dancing, and joyful chaos. Each bloco has its own theme and style, ranging from small neighborhood gatherings to massive parades that attract hundreds of thousands of revelers. Locals and tourists alike join in, blurring social lines as the city becomes one giant dance floor. Carnival also carries deeper significance. It reflects Brazil's history of cultural fusion where African, indigenous, and European influences intertwine. It is a stage for creativity, community pride, and even political expression through costumes and satire. For visitors, Carnival offers an unforgettable immersion in Brazilian culture, a celebration of life itself where music, dance, and unity take center stage. Chinese New Year, also known as the Spring Festival, is one of the world's grandest and most widely celebrated festivals, marking the beginning of the lunar calendar year. With traditions that date back over 4,000 years, it is a deeply meaningful occasion symbolizing renewal, prosperity, and family unity. Celebrations begin on New Year's Eve and extend for 15 days, culminating with the Lantern Festival. Family reunions are at the heart of the festival. Millions of people travel across China and abroad in what is often called the largest annual human migration, known as Chunyan. On New Year's Eve, families gather for a lavish reunion dinner, featuring symbolic dishes such as dumplings for wealth, fish for abundance, and glutinous rice cakes for success. Homes are decorated with red couplets, lanterns, and paper cuttings, all believed to attract good fortune and drive away evil spirits. The color red dominates the festival, as it is considered a symbol of luck and protection. One of the most iconic traditions is the dragon and lion dances, performed in streets and public squares to the sound of beating drums and firecrackers. Fireworks light up the sky, believed to scare away evil spirits and welcome prosperity for the year ahead. Children especially look forward to receiving hongbao, red envelopes filled with money, a gesture of blessings and good fortune from elders. The festivities culminate with the Lantern Festival, when thousands of glowing lanterns are released into the night sky or displayed in elaborate shapes, symbolizing hope and new beginnings. While rooted in ancient customs, Chinese New Year continues to thrive globally, celebrated by communities across Asia and beyond. More than just a holiday, it is a cultural heartbeat, reminding people of the importance of family, heritage, and looking forward to the year ahead with joy and optimism. Thailand's Songkran, the Thai New Year, is one of Southeast Asia's most lively and meaningful celebrations, held every April to mark both the start of the new year and the hottest time of the season. Rooted in Buddhist and cultural traditions, Songkran is more than just a holiday. It is a joyful expression of purification, renewal, and family togetherness. Traditionally, Songkran began with rituals of respect and cleansing. Families visit temples to offer alms to monks, pour scented water over Buddha statues, and perform Rodnam Doma, a ceremony where younger family members gently pour water over the hands of their elders to show gratitude and seek blessings. Homes are cleaned, and symbolic water rituals represent the washing away of bad luck and the welcoming of a fresh start. Over time, these customs evolved into the iconic water fights that now define the festival worldwide. Across Thailand, streets transform into playful battlegrounds where locals and tourists alike splash each other with buckets, hoses, and water guns. In cities like Chiang Mai and Bangkok, thousands gather for days of revelry, dancing to music, parading in traditional dress, and soaking in the festive atmosphere. The water, while fun, carries symbolic weight. It is believed to cleanse negativity, bring good fortune, and cool the spirit in the sweltering heat. Food, family, and community remain central. Special dishes are prepared, and people travel back to their hometowns to reunite with loved ones. Cultural performances, beauty pageants, and parades add to the sense of tradition blended with festivity. Songkran beautifully balances sacred ritual and pure joy. It is a time to reflect, reconnect, and refresh, reminding everyone that new beginnings can be both meaningful and fun. For many, joining in Songkran's celebrations is an unforgettable immersion into Thailand's warm, welcoming culture. Scotland. Hogmanay's Edinburgh Hogmanay, Scotland's world-famous New Year celebration, is one of the most vibrant and legendary festivals in Europe, known for its torchlight processions, music, and spectacular fireworks. Rooted in centuries-old traditions, Hogmanay goes beyond simply marking the start of the year. It embodies Scottish spirit, community, and the joy of welcoming fresh beginnings. The origins of Hogmanay are thought to trace back to the Norse and Gaelic winter solstice celebrations, where fire played a central role in driving away darkness and evil spirits. Today, the fire element remains a powerful symbol. In Edinburgh, the festival begins with a dramatic torchlight procession, as thousands of people carrying flaming torches march through the city, accompanied by drummers, pipers, and Viking reenactors. The fiery spectacle creates a magical atmosphere, connecting modern revelers with ancient traditions. On New Year's Eve, massive street parties light up Scotland's cities, with Edinburgh hosting one of the most famous. Live music, traditional Sealed dancing, and international performers keep the crowds energized, leading up to the midnight countdown. When the clock strikes 12, fireworks explode over Edinburgh Castle and other landmarks, creating breathtaking displays that symbolize hope and new possibilities. Another unique tradition is first footing. According to Scottish folklore, the first person to enter a home after midnight brings luck for the coming year. Traditionally, a tall, dark-haired visitor carrying gifts like whiskey, coal, or shortbread was considered especially lucky, ensuring warmth, prosperity, and joy for the household. Hogmanay lasts beyond New Year's Eve. Festivities often continue into January 1st and Send, which are public holidays in Scotland. For many, it is a time of gathering generosity and new beginnings, blending ancient rituals with modern celebrations. Hogmanay is more than just a party. It is Scotland's warm and fiery welcome to the year ahead. Mongolia. Naadam Festival. Naadam, Mongolia's most important cultural festival, is a vibrant summer celebration showcasing the nation's spirit, heritage, and nomadic traditions. Held annually in July, Naadam is often called Aryan Gurven Naadam, or the Three Manly Games, referring to the traditional sports of wrestling, horse racing, and archery, each deeply tied to Mongolia's history and identity. The festival dates back centuries with roots in military training, hunting skills, and community gatherings of the nomadic Mongol tribes. Today, it also commemorates Mongolia's independence from China in 1921, blending nationalism with age-old traditions. Naadam is officially opened in Ulaanbaatar with a colorful ceremony featuring music, dance, parades, and athletes dressed in elaborate costumes, but celebrations are also held in towns and rural areas across the country. The competitions themselves are spectacular. Mongolian wrestling, or Baka, is the most prestigious, with wrestlers wearing traditional garments and performing an eagle-like dance before bouts. Unlike Western wrestling, there are no weight classes. The objective is to throw an opponent to the ground, showcasing both strength and technique. Horse racing is equally remarkable, as children, some as young as 5, ride semi-wild horses across distances ranging from 10 to 30 kilometers, demonstrating endurance and the deep bond between Mongols and their horses. Archery, another ancient skill, sees men and women alike shooting arrows at distant targets with remarkable precision, accompanied by traditional songs of encouragement. Beyond the competitions, Naadam is a festive time of community food and cultural pride. Families gather to share traditional dishes like kusher, fried meat pastries, and arag, fermented mare's milk. Music, dancing, and colorful attire fill the celebration, creating an atmosphere that blends joy with reverence for heritage. Naadam is more than just sport. It is a living link to Mongolia's nomadic past, celebrating courage, skill, and the enduring spirit of the Mongolian people. Philippines. 80 Hatir, the Sinulog Festival, held every January in Cebu City, Philippines, is one of the country's most vibrant and spiritual celebrations. It honors the Santo Niño, or the Child Jesus, a revered symbol of faith and devotion for Filipino Catholics. What began as a religious ritual has evolved into a grand street festival that combines tradition, pageantry, and community pride, drawing millions of participants and visitors each year. The origins of Sinulog date back to the 16th century, when Portuguese explorer Ferdinand Magellan gifted a statue of the Santo Niño to Queen Juana of Cebu in 1521. This event marked the introduction of Christianity to the Philippines, and the Santo Niño became a powerful emblem of faith. Over time, locals developed rituals of dance and offering to honor the Holy Child, blending indigenous traditions with Catholic devotion. At the heart of the festival is the Sinulog dance, inspired by the movements of water flowing forward and backward, symbolizing life's rhythm and the people's prayerful devotion. During the grand parade, thousands of dancers in brightly colored costumes and intricate body paint fill the streets, moving to the beat of drums, trumpets, and native gongs. The energy is electric. Tribal groups, performers, and devotees march together in waves of sound and color, creating a spectacle unlike any other. While the street dancing is the highlight, Sinulog is also a deeply spiritual event. Novena masses, religious processions, and ceremonies honor the Santo Niño, reminding participants of the festival's sacred roots. Alongside the religious observances, cultural shows, music concerts, and fireworks displays add to the festive atmosphere, making it a blend of faith and festivity. Sinulog embodies the Filipino spirit, joyful, resilient, and deeply rooted in tradition. It is both a heartfelt prayer and a cultural showcase, uniting people in celebration and devotion to the Santo Niño. Germany. Oktoberfest. Oktoberfest, held annually in Munich, Germany, is the world's largest beer festival and one of Europe's most famous cultural celebrations. Drawing millions of visitors from around the globe, it combines traditional Bavarian hospitality with folk music, parades, and of course, plenty of beer. What began in 1810 as a royal wedding celebration has grown into a 16 to 18-day festival that showcases the richness of Bavarian culture and community spirit. The origins of Oktoberfest date back to the marriage of Crown Prince Ludwig and Princess Therese, when the citizens of Munich were invited to a grand public feast featuring horse races and festivities. The event was so successful that it became an annual tradition, evolving over the centuries into today's globally renowned celebration. Despite its international fame, Oktoberfest has held on to its strong regional identity, proudly highlighting Bavarian traditions. At the heart of Oktoberfest are the massive beer tents run by Munich's historic breweries. Each tent has its own atmosphere, from lively party vibes with brass bands to quieter, family-friendly settings. Visitors enjoy specially brewed Märzen-style beer served in 1-liter steins, alongside hearty Bavarian dishes such as pretzels, sausages, roast chicken, and pork knuckles. Servers dressed in traditional attire, men in lederhosen and women in dirndls, add to the festive authenticity. Beyond beer, Oktoberfest is filled with parades, folk dancing, and music. The grand opening features the ceremonial tapping of the first beer barrel by Munich's mayor, followed by colorful processions of costume performers, marching bands, and horse-drawn brewery wagons. Carnival rides, games, and cultural exhibitions ensure there is entertainment for all ages. Oktoberfest is more than just a festival of beer. It is a living symbol of Bavarian pride, tradition, and hospitality. For many, it offers an unforgettable experience of music, culture, and camaraderie that transcends borders. Nepal Indra Jatra's Kathmandu Indra Jatra, celebrated in Kathmandu, Nepal, is one of the country's most colorful and spiritually significant festivals. Dedicated to Indra, the Hindu god of rain and king of heaven, it blends Hindu and Buddhist traditions into a week-long spectacle of masked dances, processions, and rituals that unite the community in devotion and festivity. Marking both the harvest season and the gratitude for rains, Indra Jatra is also renowned for its unique appearance of the living goddess Kumari, making it unlike any other celebration in the world. The festival begins with the raising of a ceremonial wooden pole or lingo at Kathmandu Durbar Square. This towering structure, pulled upright by crowds in a dramatic ritual, symbolizes the invitation to Indra to join the celebrations. Over the following days, the city comes alive with processions, music, and theatrical performances. Masked dances, known as lackey dances, portray mythical demons, gods, and protectors who roam the streets to drive away evil and entertain the people. The dances are not only mesmerizing performances but also acts of spiritual significance, believed to purify the city and bring protection. One of the most sacred aspects of Indra Jatra is the procession of the Kumari, the living goddess of Kathmandu. Carried through the streets in a beautifully decorated chariot, the Kumari blesses onlookers with her presence, believed to bestow protection and prosperity. Crowds gather to catch a glimpse of her, as this rare public appearance is deeply revered. Indra Jatra is more than a festival. It is a living tradition that bridges Nepal's diverse cultural and religious heritage. With its vibrant dances, sacred rituals, and the awe-inspiring sight of the Kumari, it is both a celebration of gratitude for life's blessings and a reaffirmation of the community's spiritual ties. South Korea Chuseok, Switzerland Fasnacht Basel. The Venice Carnival, or Carnival di Venezia, is one of the world's most enchanting festivals, celebrated annually in the historic city of Venice, Italy. Known for its elaborate masks, lantern-lit streets, and spectacular parades, the carnival transforms Venice into a living stage where centuries-old traditions meet timeless elegance. Rooted in history, it is both a cultural treasure and a dazzling celebration of art, mystery, and community spirit. The origins of Venice Carnival trace back to the 12th century, when Venetians would gather before Lent for days of feasting, music, and revelry. It reached its golden age in the 18th century, when Venice became famous for its lavish masquerade balls, theatrical performances, and a spirit of freedom that allowed people of all classes to mingle behind the anonymity of masks. Though banned for many years during political upheavals, the festival was revived in the late 20th century and has since regained its status as one of the most iconic celebrations in Europe. Masks are the heart of the carnival, crafted with exquisite detail. They range from the mysterious botas covering the whole face to the long-nosed Medico della Peste and the elegant Colombina. Worn by locals and visitors alike, masks symbolize equality, secrecy, and the playful breaking of social barriers. Alongside masks, Venice comes alive with parades on the canals, lantern-lit processions, live music, and costumed performers strolling through piazzas, turning the city into a grand open-air theater. Highlights include the Flight of the Angel from St. Mark's Basilica, dazzling fireworks over the lagoon, and masked balls held in historic palaces. For many, the magic of Venice Carnival lies not only in its grandeur but also in its ability to transport participants back to a world of fantasy and tradition, where history and festivity intertwine. Switzerland, Fasnacht Basel. The Venice Carnival, or Carnival di Venezia, is one of the world's most enchanting festivals, celebrated annually in the historic city of Venice, Italy. Known for its elaborate masks, lantern-lit streets, and spectacular parades, the carnival transforms Venice into a living stage where centuries-old traditions meet timeless elegance. Rooted in history, it is both a cultural treasure and a dazzling celebration of art, mystery, and community spirit. The origins of Venice Carnival trace back to the 12th century, when Venetians would gather before Lent for days of feasting, music, and revelry. It reached its golden age in the 18th century, when Venice became famous for its lavish masquerade balls, theatrical performances, and a spirit of freedom that allowed people of all classes to mingle behind the anonymity of masks. Though banned for many years during political upheavals, the festival was revived in the late 20th century and has since regained its status as one of the most iconic celebrations in Europe. Masks are the heart of the carnival, crafted with exquisite detail. They range from the mysterious botas covering the whole face to the long-nosed Medico della Peste and the elegant Colombina. Worn by locals and visitors alike, masks symbolize equality, secrecy, and the playful breaking of social barriers. Alongside masks, Venice comes alive with parades on the canals, lantern-lit processions, live music, and costumed performers strolling through piazzas, turning the city into a grand open-air theater. Highlights include the Flight of the Angel from St. Mark's Basilica, dazzling fireworks over the lagoon, and masked balls held in historic palaces. For many, the magic of Venice Carnival lies not only in its grandeur but also in its ability to transport participants back to a world of fantasy and tradition, where history and festivity intertwine. Ethiopia Timkat Epiphany, also known as Theophany in Eastern traditions, is a Christian festival celebrated on January 6th or January 19th in Orthodox churches following the Julian calendar. It commemorates the baptism of Jesus Christ in the River Jordan by John the Baptist, as well as in Western Christianity, the visit of the Magi to the infant Jesus. Rich in symbolism, Epiphany is a festival of revelation, renewal, and blessings marked by processions, rituals, and ceremonies centered on water. The central theme of Epiphany is the manifestation of Christ as the Son of God. In many countries, special church services are held, with hymns, prayers, and scripture readings recounting the baptism in the Jordan, where the Holy Spirit descended like a dove and God's voice proclaimed Jesus as his beloved Son. The blessing of water is one of the most significant rituals, symbolizing purification, renewal, and the sanctification of creation. In Orthodox traditions, priests bless rivers, lakes, or seas, and worshippers often immerse themselves in the cold waters, an act of faith and devotion. Public processions and reenactments also bring the celebration to life. In Greece, for example, the blessing of the waters involves priests casting a cross into the sea, with swimmers diving in to retrieve it, believed to bring blessings for the year. In Italy and Spain, Epiphany includes parades with costume figures representing the three wise men, who distribute gifts and sweets to children, echoing the Magi's gifts to Christ. Beyond its rituals, Epiphany carries a universal message of light, renewal, and divine presence in the world. For Christians, it is both a spiritual reminder of baptism's significance and a joyful festival of faith and community. Across cultures and denominations, Epiphany bridges the sacred and the celebratory, honoring Christ's revelation to humanity.